And I'm glad you brought up Evan Pryor because I think there's a default process based on what we saw last season and the productivity that this is 3 quarters Travion Henderson and 1 quarter Mayan Williams. And then we forget about Evan Pryor, who was a pretty darn good running back coming out of high school. And I'm hearing that he's having a good spring practice to show that, hey, I'm here too and I'm ready to roll.
Absolutely. I mean, he was the number 6 back in our 247 sports composite. If Ohio State doesn't land Travion Henderson, everyone is clamoring to see Evan Pryor. I mean, you look at some of the running backs Ohio State's had in the past, they've had success with guys that were ranked lower than that coming out of high school. So I'm excited for Evan Pryor. We got to see a little bit of him. Ohio State Student Appreciation Day was last weekend, and they let us watch the full practice along with the students there. They did some 7-on-7, 11v11 stuff, and Evan Pryor stood out in what he can do out of the backfield. And I think that does give a little bit different dimension. He talked to us earlier this spring about being able to run between the tackles and do the stuff that's required of a running back, because he doesn't want to be just considered a guy that can catch the ball and not be able to get those tough yards up the middle. You know, there was a comparison made between him and Curtis Samuel, who obviously eventually moved to wide receiver as he got towards the end of his Ohio State career and obviously in the NFL. He liked that comparison, but he wants to be able to do both things. He very much considers himself a running back, and he's a talented one. He just so happens to be pigeonholed a little bit with his receiving skills just because that stands out. But that doesn't mean he can't do the other things. And I do think that it's going to be heavier Travion Henderson, obviously Travion Henderson and Mayan Williams, but I do think you're going to see some Evan Pryor sprinkled in there, and they're going to use his abilities.